Hey guys, my name is Annie Liu and I'm one of the UTAs for KM251. Today we'll be focusing on the muscles of the abdominal wall and different tips or tricks that help you remember them. And I apologize just because right now I'm a little bit sick, so my voice probably sounds a little bit nasally, but yeah, let's get through it. So here are the muscles of the abdominal wall and we'll be going over them real quick. So let's go from superior to deep in naming the muscles. In the superior section, we have the serratus anterior right here. And then we have the pectoralis major right over here. And then we have the external obliques, which is right here. Now let's go over the intermediate layer. The intermediate layer is between the superior layer and the deep layer. So in the intermediate layer, we have the internal oblique muscle, and we'll be doing this in a blue. Right, so internal oblique. And then we have the linea alba, which is right over here. And then we also have the tendinous intersection. And then we have the rectus abdominis right over here. Okay, so now finally we have the deep layer. In the deep layer, you only need to know one muscle, and that is the transverse abdominis, which is right over here. Okay, so the colors in yellow is the superior, colors in green blue is the intermediate layer, and then the red is the deep layer. Since we are already talking about the deep layer, let's actually first talk about a tip to remember the transversus abdominis. So this is a portion in the green, and in this picture, as you can see, the transversus abdominis is a little bit hidden, and it is the one that's right here. So it's this portion right here. So here's a better picture to look over. So when I first see the word transversus, I see the word transverse when I think about the word transversus. And in week 1, we learned about the transverse plane. And that plane actually cuts through right in the middle like this. And when you look at the transversus muscle, the transversus abdominis, a muscle, if you look at the way the muscle fiber moves, or in the direction, as you can see, it goes in a transverse kind of direction as well, as it goes from side to side like this. So that's the way you remember, is to remember transverse plane and relate that to the transversus abdominis. All right, so now let's look in the intermediate layer. I remember the linea alba, which is this line coming down in the middle, right here. I actually think about the word linear or line when I see the word linea. As you can see, it almost looks like a linear line going down the middle, right here. And next we have the tendinous intersection. So that is this one we're going to be discussing about. So with the tendinous intersection, I think about the word tendon and intersect or intersection. And as you can see, with the tendinous intersection, so it almost looks like it kind of intersects the rectus abdominis muscle, correct? So what I mean by that is like it looks like the rectus abdominis could have been one straight muscle and then the tendinous intersection just intersects it and kind of cuts it in half. For the last muscle that we're going to be talking about right now would be the rectus abdominis. And to be honest, the way that I remembered this, and again, here I will highlight the rectus abdominis right now. All right, so do you see this right here that I'm highlighting? So the rectus abdominis, the only way I remembered it was thinking about the casual term that we usually use, and that is abs. And again, abs is kind of like the shortened term for abdominis here, and that's the way that I remembered it. So finally, we have the superior layer. So let's first actually look at the serratus anterior. So first of all, the word anterior in the serratus anterior gives us a clue that it's in the superior layer, as anterior means it's in the front. Also, when I see the word serratus, I think about a serrated edge. So you could kind of think about this like a bread knife or a serrated pair of scissors. So here's a pair of serrated scissors right over here, and for me when I was younger, we used these a lot to cut paper in order to give it kind of like a choppy edge or a decorative edge. And you could think about this muscle group kind of like that. And what I mean is that when you see this muscle, I feel like this muscle kind of looks a little bit jagged or rough. So let me show you what I mean. So kind of like this. This reminds me about the serratus edge of, let's say, a bread knife, which is a little bit choppy, or a serrated pair of scissors. Next, we have the pectoralis major. And again, for this one, just like the rectus abdominis, I kind of use the casual term in order to remember this. And the casual term for this are the pecs. The pectoralis major, the pecs is a shortened word for pectoralis. And then finally, we have the external and internal oblique. So the external oblique is the superior layer, and internal oblique is on the intermediate layer. But I kind of remember them both by grouping them together. So for the external oblique, we know that external means out or outside, while internal means in or inside. So as you can see right here, the external oblique is on the superior layer, while the internal oblique is on the intermediate layer. And you can also remember that internal and intermediate both have an I for the first letter, and that could kind of give a clue. So that concludes our video for today. So thank you so much for watching and happy studying. Good luck!